Super Saiyan 4 Goku plus God Key. What do you get? Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Goku from Dragon Ball Heroes. And Kong Studios was generous enough to make this variation of Goku into figure format. Lord knows it'd probably be 2027 before we actually got something like this from Tamashi Nations. But enough about that. This figure looks pretty good, but there are some issues. First thing is that the big broad shoulder look that Super Saiyan 4 has is missing on the figure. Here's a comparison picture with Tamashi Nation's Dragon Ball GT Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think what contributes to this is the lack of a V shape in the torso, and what makes it even more noticeable on top of that is the gap between the shoulders and the traps, giving the figure a sort of droopy shoulder look. Now, to be fair, it doesn't look nearly as noticeable when the hair is draped over the shoulders, but you can still see it. The next issue is the rips in the lower legs of the pants. While the rip on the thigh part of the pants shows the fur on his leg, the tear on the lower legs is just painted black instead of showing the fur underneath. Next, the hair. It could definitely be a bit more saturated in terms of the magenta fuchsia color that it has. And here's some pictures to show what it looks like in an anime. But on the bright side, aesthetically, the fur texturing on this figure is great. But once again, it's missing those magenta, fuchsia, lavenderish highlights that comes with the limit breaker form. And I think that would have made the texture on the figure pop even more. And the same can be said for the rest of the body. And overall, I would say that this figure aesthetically is kind of disappointing, but it's important to remember this is a third party figure and they do not have the budget that Bandai Tamashi Nations does. So, anyways, what does this guy come with? Two fist hands, two martial arts pose hands, two open palm hands, two instant transmission hands, and by the way, you can pretty much get him to touch his forehead and do the instant transmission pose, but you're gonna have to work with it a little bit. Even now, he's still not quite touching his forehead. But if you're taking photos, you'll know how to manipulate that to make it look that way. Two grabby hands with pegs in them, which it has the pegs because Kong Studios borrowed from Tamashi Nation's version of Super Saiyan 4, and that version of Super Saiyan 4 came with these hands because it had the energy effect part that you could plug into it. But this doesn't come with that. So. Last but not least, it comes with the hand holding the Patara earring. Faces, he comes with one looking forward smirking face, a mean face that's looking off to the side, a straight ahead mean face, one gritting teeth face, and finally one looking to the side and down smirking face. For those of you that don't have both figures, you might be wondering, can you swap pieces in between both figures? The answer is a resounding nope. For one, you can't swap heads because the peg on Kong Studios version of Super Saiyan 4 is too big. And secondly, you can't swap faces because Kong Studios' face is too wide for the Tamashi Nations variant. So there you go. For his articulation, he looks up that much, down, tilt side to side, swivel, arms go out that far, 360-degree rotation, cut at the top of the bicep, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and slight bend. Crunch forward, none. Crunch back, hello. Tilt side to side, a little bit. Swivel, kicks forward, kicks back, double jointed knee, splits, shaky leg. Ankle can't really move down or up that much. Okay ankle rocker, and decent toe hinge. Cut at the top of the thigh. Articulated hair. And last but not least, articulated tail. It's on a ball peg. Okay, so I freestyled all the pictures for this striker pose segment because I didn't want to reuse some of the same poses that I used for the last Super Saiyan 4 action figure review. And I also wanted to take this time to talk about how limited the articulation is. It should be much better than it actually is. Like both the knee and the elbow just get a little bit better than 90. The core sucks. And the hips really are bad too. Bad relative for a character like Goku he's a martial artist. He's gonna be very flexible. But either way, you'll see the pictures as I go through them. I tried to do the best with what I had. And I'll see you in height and size comparisons. For this action figure, he stands just about to the top of his head. We're gonna say a little under 6.5 inches to the top of his head. Starting off with Super Saiyan 4 Goku by Tamashi Nations. There you go. Super Blue, Superman, Kong Studios Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, Full Power Super Saiyan Broly, the New Year Vow Spider-Man. At long last, should you get this figure? Yeah, I guess so. Now the reason why I say that is because you don't have much of an option in terms of getting Goku in this variation. You could get the Super Saiyan 4 Goku by Tamashi Nations, but that's not exactly the same design as this Goku. You know, different pants, like a whole different lower body, different colored hair. It's just different. Also, because unless you're willing to pay a cut to buy the Tamashi figure and then get somebody to customize it for you and for it to be a good customization, that's all gonna be a lot more than it's probably. I guess it depends on how much you want it. I was gonna say it's gonna be a lot more than it's worth, but I can't really say that. Also, I'll have the price of this figure somewhere, a screen capture like I usually do on this figure's price in the corner, but in all, it's a decent figure. I wish, like, it looks good standing there, just standing there, for sure. But the articulation, I think, is where it really needs some work, for sure. And with all that being said, until next time, low, out.